Hey photographers, you know the movie script where two people hate each other in the first scene, but somehow wind up together by the end? This is the Tamron 17-70mm f2.8 X-mount lens. Its real name is B070. Tamron bills it as the world's first 17-70mm large aperture standard zoom for crop cameras. It's also available for E-mount. Tamron, based in Japan, has been around since 1950. They make lots of optical equipment, and they asked if I'd like to borrow this lens for a review. It's going back when I'm done. They did not pay me and did not see the script or the video before posting. So honestly, I didn't much like the 17-70 when I took it out of the box. It felt light and plasticky. And with no aperture ring, it didn't really seem like a good fit for a Fujifilm camera. This is the X-T4. But the proof is in the photos, so let's start with those. Then I'll go over the physical details in operation, and we'll have a closer look at the detail in some of the images. On a crop sensor, 17-70 is the equivalent of 25-105. That's an angle of view of about 80 to 23 degrees, providing fairly good reach for a standard zoom about 4 times. I was not disappointed. Combined with Fujifilm's Velvia film simulation, with chrome blue on, colors are rich and vibrant, and the dynamic range is good in these out-of-camera JPEGs. Lens operates nicely, letting me concentrate on composition. And what's most impressive here is the detail. Water drops on a fountain. A spider web in a garden. Bees pollinating flowers. So physically, the 17-70 is light, 530 grams, about 12 centimeters long. Filter diameter 67 millimeters. That's a standard across Tamron mirrorless lenses. That's nice. The large grippy front ring sets the focal length, which is marked on the barrel. About 1/4 turn, that's a comfortable rotation, and the lens extends about 3 centimeters as I zoom in. The lens rotation friction feels just right, and with its lightweight, it's certainly not going to extend on its own while pointed down. The focus wobbles as the focal length changes. That means it's not great for video. So the second, smaller ring adjusts focus in manual mode. Focus adjustments are internal, and it is focus by wire, so the speed of the turn varies the amount of the adjustment. In auto mode, the transition from infinity to the closest distance is relatively quick, even with the subject at the furthest edge of the scene. In continuous AF, it tracks approaching subjects without missed frames. The closest focus distance ramps from 2 centimeters when wide. For this view of an 8 centimeter Playmobil character, fully zoomed 4 centimeters away for this view. That's pretty close, even if it's not macro. Many Fujifilm cameras have a menu control for linear focus, and this lens respects that setting. And while that's useful for a follow focus rig, the full infinity to closest distance is about 3 full turns in linear mode. And there are no other controls or switches on this lens, and that means using the camera's dials to set the aperture, which can be a little awkward. On the X-T4, it's the front command dial. Aperture is constant, f2.8 to f22, and when you turn the dial past f22, it snaps into the auto setting, again, slightly awkward. In video, with movie optimized control, auto is the setting past f2.8. The bokeh at 2.8 is very nice, a very soft defocus fall-off, and a shallow depth of field. This seagull at the top of a light post is in focus, the CN tower just soft enough. Peeking into the corners, detail remains sharp and well-defined, even on fine lines. I don't see any chromatic issues, aberration, or fringing. On Fujifilm cameras, I prefer lenses with physical aperture controls. That's a better match for the physical shutter and ISO settings on the X-T4. But with the new XH2S's PASM controls, this might be a more suitable configuration. Now, this lens doesn't have the USB port to use Tamron's Lens Utility app or update the firmware. The hood snaps on and twists off. And this lens has lots of initials: DI, 3A, VC, RXD. I looked them up. DI signifies Tamron's line of digital lenses. 3 indicates mirrorless. A for the APS-C crop format. VC is vibration compensation. That's usually called stabilization. And that's likely the source of the very slight whir I hear when I put my ear on the barrel. The manual says activate stabilization by setting the camera's steady shot on. That's the Sony term. On the X-T4, it's IS mode, with different options for stills and for video. So for this handheld shot with the in-body plus optical setting, it's nice and steady, but I wasn't able to differentiate the amount of stabilization that the lens added. Manual recommends that it be turned off in bulb mode and on a tripod. RXD is the focus system. Tamron describes this one as quick and precise. Tamron's alternate VXD system used in other lenses is described as stunningly fast and accurate. I think that might be the better system. Well, there are slightly faster focus systems out there. On the X-T4, it's certainly fast enough, even in darker situations. There's a complicated geography here. The lens is made in Vietnam. The hood is made in China, and that is not meant as a comment on its quality. The Tamron website lists the compatible X-mount cameras. I suggest you review that before you order. Fujifilm has not always been supportive of third-party lenses. So, and in Fujifilm terms, this is an XC type, not XF type lens. Before you buy, consider the similarly priced Fujifilm XF16-80 f4. You'll lose a stop of aperture, but have manual aperture control. I'm not sure if I promised you an ending where boy and lens end up happily paired in the final frame. After shooting for a couple of weeks, I did enjoy my time and was very happy with the photos. Now, I own the Fujifilm XF16-55 f2.8, which, even though it doesn't reach as far, is a nicer and more expensive lens. I'll stick with that. As I said, the lens is on loan. I was not paid by Tamron or anyone else for this or any video on my channel. I'm sponsored by viewers who've decided to become members. And thanks to my members, I've eliminated YouTube ad interruptions in my videos and don't read you anyone's promotional stuff. If you'd like to participate, there's a join link below. Subscribing remains free. And I'll continue to read and reply to your relevant questions and civil comments. Thanks for watching. Stay safe.